Ever since I did a solo run with Aurorus in December of 2024, I've wanted to play with the other fossil Pokemon in Pokemon X and Y, and with a Pokemon fossil exhibit coming to Chicago this summer, I figured why not run it now. Today we're going to see how fast I can beat Pokemon X using only a Tyrantrum. Rules are on screen but also in the description. Both Tyrantrum and Aurorus have base stat totals of 521, but I prefer the distribution of Tyrantrum stats more. While we don't have as much HP, we have a lot more attack and defense, and considering this thing doesn't get too many special moves, I'm going to be going with a Jolly Nature to lower our special attack and try to boost our speed since we're only working with a base 71. Tyrantrum's starting move pool is amazing. We start with Tackle, Tail Whip, and Head Smash, a 150 base power stab move off the get-go. Head Smash would normally inflict half the damage back to you that you deal to the target, but we won't have to worry about that today, because I'm going with Tyrantrum's hidden ability Rockhead, which prevents recoil damage. Its other ability is Strong Jaw, which increases the power of biting moves, but considering this thing only gets Bite and Crunch on its level up learn set, and I'm going to be keeping Head Smash for the entire run, I think I made the obvious choice. And Little Shauna's Chestpin doesn't stand a chance in this first battle, easily getting one-shot by Head Smash. Let's jump ahead to Santaloon Forest, and I'm going to be keeping things to the minimum for now. I'm going minimum battles to Viola, battling only youngster Austin, Lass Anna, and Lass Charlotte in Viola's gym, before I take on the bug-type specialist herself. I did get poisoned by Lass Charlotte's Kakuna in the prior battle, but that isn't going to help Viola out. I have two uses of Head Smash left with her Pokemon's name on them, and while both Surskit and Vivian outspeed me, Head Smash just annihilates them. Jumping ahead to Route 4, I am going to get in some extra training here, and also picking up items along the way to sell, because like I did with Diggersby, I want to buy the Bulldoze TM for Tyrantrum. I didn't really cover its level up moves or TMs in detail earlier, so why don't we do that now? Being both a rock and dragon type, we get nice options for both. I've already pointed out the early Head Smash. We will get access to our first dragon move in Dragon Tail prior to Karina's gym. I'm not the biggest fan of these decreased priority moves. I know they do have their use in solo runs, especially in Generation 2, but I haven't seen much use for them in Gen 3 and onwards, but if they have some use in later gens, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to know. But between levels 34 and 47 is where we get some nice physical options. Crunch, Dragon Claw, Thrash, and Earthquake. I won't be making use of Thrash in this run, but I have to give it its props because of Nidoking in Generation 1, and we only get one special move by level up in Ancient Power, which won't see much use. If we flip to the TMs, there are a couple moves I'm going to point out because I gave them brief thoughts. Let's start with Hidden Power, and this was probably the easiest. I don't need it. Another move that I briefly looked at was Dark Pulse, and also quickly said no, we don't need that either. I also hate that moves like Dark Pulse, Rock Slide, and Stone Edge are only available after the 8th gym when you have access to Waterfall. To kind of wrap up my thoughts on the TMs though, because you can see them on screen, something I've done in prior runs is I'll pick up a TM that we learn by level up, like Earthquake or Dragon Claw for Tyrantrum as an example, just to have some additional move flexibility in the league if I need to delete that move and want to reteach it later. But I don't think our Dino is going to need too much of that. Plus, some of these TMs are just a time sink to grab, like Earthquake for example. Picking things up in Lumiose City, Professor Sycamore is an easy one-shot sweep. These are our choices of Pokemon to take from him thanks to the randomizer, and of course, I'm going to go with Chikorita. On Route 5, I can take this Grind Rail and grab the TM for Hone Claws. Access to an early setup move is nice. I also quickly backtrack to Lumiose once I have 10,000 Pokédollars and grab the Bulldoze TM. In Camphirier Town, to get around the RNG of the guy who asks you to see a specific type of Pokemon before he gives you a berry, I always give myself one of those 5 berries at the beginning of the game via PK Hex, but restrict myself from using it until I reach here. Those 5 berries berries are the cherry berry, chesto berry, pecha berry, roust berry, and asper berry. The most popular of these that I go with is the cherry berry, to counter out Thunderwave from Grant's Amora, and I'm going to be going with that today as well. There's also the ether and the star piece that I like to grab. Now let's skip ahead to Parfum Palace. I'm going to be doing the regular errands here, such as grabbing the rare candy, the HM for cut, the amulet coin, and grabbing the Poke Flute to progress the story. On Route 8, there's a PP up I can grab before the double battle against Trevor and Tierno. I've routed 3 of these into my run today, and all of them are going to be dumped into Head Smash. Callum and I make quick work of these 2, and as I head through Route 8, I pick up some extra training before arriving in Amberette Town. Like I do in every run, I'm going to grab the TM for Rock Smash to have access to an extra rare candy later. I also grab the hidden rare candy on the beach before heading to Glittering Cave to take care of Team Flare. And to this point in the run, there really isn't anything that can stand in Tyrantrum's way, but that will change later on. I grab the sail fossil from the scientist this time, and make my way into Cyllage City. Before I head to Grant's gym, I'm going to grab the TM for rest as a just in case for later. Grant's trainers don't pose any problems, so let's see if the rock type specialist does. Amora is his lead. I have the Cherry Berry equipped, and I go for Hone Claws turn 1. Not for the attack boost, but for the accuracy boost since Head Smash is only 80% accurate, and there are some battles later on where I miss 3-4 times in a row. Amora goes for Thunder Wave, which my Cherry Berry heals off the paralysis, and Head Smash easily one-shots it and his ace Tyrant. We love a first try Grant. While Tyrantrum has had a flawless run to this point, that is about to end, thanks to me getting caught by this trainer, Tourist Fumiko. She has 3 Pokemon, a Skiploom, a Azumarill, and Dunsparce. I didn't heal after beating Grant, so I only have 2 uses of Head Smash left. My first misses as Skiploom goes for Stun Spore, paralyzing me. It begins to chip me down with Fairy Wind as I get caught in paralysis and also miss my last use of Head Smash. At this point, I began to think to myself, what if I just attacked Amora right away and hit? I definitely would have one-shot it, and I'd still have my Cherry Berry for this annoying thing. I do knock it out and move on to Azumarill, who my attacks aren't doing much to, and it slowly chips me down to red health with Rollout, and because of this, her final Pokemon Dunsparce is able to finish me off for the first fault in the run, and thanks to the power of video editing, you don't need to watch this thing knock out my HM users, as I take a slow blackout. I dodge Tourist Fumiko on my next go around and battle my way through the few mandatory Team Flare grunts until I arrive in Geosenge Town, where we have our first battle against Karina. Her Lucarios are supposed to be able to set up and give you a hard time. Both have the same set of Swords Dance, Power Up Punch, Metal Sound, and Faint. But we have Bulldoze, which lets me outspeed after 1 use. And Power Up Punch from her second Lucario doesn't do nearly as much as I thought it would. I do have the opportunity to learn Ancient Power at the end of the battle, but Head Smash is by far the superior move. I didn't show this in the Diggersby video, but this is where the Citrus Berry is on Route 11. I grab it with Tyrantrum as well. There's also a tree you can cut down just above it which leads to the TM for Rock Polish. I grabbed this as a just in case. In Reflection Cave, I make sure to be extremely careful to dodge Battle Girl Hedvig and all of the other trainers with fighting types on their team. With Karina's gym coming up, I'm not looking forward to all of the fighting types I'm going to have to see. At the end of the cave though, I decided to face one optional trainer, Ace Trainer Emil. He has 2 Pokemon, an Absol and Pinsir, normally not a problem for Tyrantrum. However, his lead Absol has the Pressure ability, which causes moves to use 2 PP instead of 1. And I have 3 uses of Head Smash left, but really only 2 because of Absol's ability. And of course, I miss both. I can't set up Hone Claws because of this thing using Taunt, so I have to knock it out over 3 turns with Bulldoze. Unfortunately, the Pinsir in the back has a bunch of fighting moves, like Brick Break, and it's able to finish off Tyrantrum. I have to go through Reflection Cave all over again because I didn't save prior. And the second time through, I run into Battle Girl Hedvig, which results in another quick reset. 3rd time's the charm though, and I finally made it to Shalor City. I stopped by the Pokemon Center and purchased the TM for Dig before taking on my rival in the Tower of Mastery. And I actually lose this first battle. I start by setting up Hone Claws on Meowstic, not for the attack boost, but for the accuracy boost again. But instead of going for Head Smash, which is by far my best option, I choose Return, which leaves Meowstic on low red health. And because Meowstic's faster, it moves first, fires off another Psybeam, which brings Tyrantrum to low red health and also causes confusion. While I can knock out Callum's lead, I just hit myself against the Absol, and that's another reset. The faults have been non-stop since I defeated Grant, losing to a trainer I never lose to, battling an optional I always skip and losing, getting caught by Battle Girl Hedvig and losing, and now losing to the rival. Hopefully, since all this losing is coming in bunches now, I hope it means that I won't have loss after loss in Karina's gym. In the next battle, I play much smarter, only setting up once and using the super effective Bite on Meowstic. Head Smash then one-shots both Absol and Frogadier. I guess all that early losing gave me some good luck, because I'm able to first try all 4 of Karina's gym trainers, although things got awfully close against Rolanda. Now let's face the skating queen herself. Mienfoo is first. After it hits me with a turn 1 fake out, I set up 2 turns of Hone Claws before knocking it out with Return. She sends in her ace Hawlucha next. It's faster and sets up with Hone Claws turn 1, and I just leave my cursor on Return when I should be using Head Smash. Watching a run back months after the fact, I always question a lot of things I did during the run. Not using Head Smash is one of them. And for context, I filmed this run on February 28th, and the voiceover is being finished up in early May. I do eventually switch to Head Smash after Karina burns through all of her Hyper Potions to one-shot her ace. Last is Machoke, and Return gets the one-shot, a clean sweep of the fighting gym. On Route 12, I make sure to grab the leftovers, and I'm also going to ride the Skidoo to skip all of the battles ahead, cutting right to Comarine City. I love that they put this in these games. I wish this was on more routes. I have a battle with my rival outside of the Comarine City gym. It's the same as the last battle, set up Hone Claws and go to town with Head Smash. But like in the last battle, I bite down the Meowstic, and I get a flinch allowing me to take it out without taking much damage back. I level up after knocking it out and can learn Crunch, which is an immediate upgrade over Bite. I can then use Head Smash to one-shot the following Absol and Frogadier. Ramos is also very easy. I just go straight Head Smash on the Jumpluff to one-shot it, and he sends out his ace Go-Goat next. Head Smash doesn't get the one-shot, and it hits me with a Bulldoze so it can have the outspeed on me. During the Hyper Potion turn, I set up Hone Claws to guarantee the range. But remember, Go-Goat's faster now, and it hits me with Grass Knot, which deals massive damage to Tyrantrum, but thankfully Head Smash is able to one-shot his ace. Last is Weepinbell, and despite my speed being lowered by 1 stage, I still move first and Head Smash one-shots. Tyrantrum levels up to 37 at the end of the battle and can learn Dragon Claw, which I teach in the place of Return. Next is a trip to the Lumiose Badlands and Power Plant. I did have an unfortunate reset against this grunt. After setting up Hone Claws turn 1, the Krogunk hit me with Swagger, boosting my attack to a total of +3 and also confusing me. And the battle is just over from here. I hit myself twice, doing a lot of damage in the process, and the Krogunk has low sweep for super effective damage. I do get revenge in the next battle, just going for Dragon Claw immediately to one-shot it. The Team Flare admin and Aliana aren't a problem at the end of the power plant, although I do have to two-shot Aliana's Mightyena thanks to its Intimidate ability. I grab the rare candy outside of Lumiose City and make my way to the Lumiose City gym. Clement's trainers don't cause any issues for Tyrantrum, and although I haven't taught any ground moves for this gym, I don't think Clement will either. He leads with Emolga. This thing is like Elisa's Emolga, because it likes to Volt Switch out turn 1, and it does just that, bringing in Magneton as I set up Hone Claws. Magneton likes to set up Electric Terrain, and Clement usually burns through his Hyper Potions on this Pokemon because of its Sturdy ability, but Clement healing it up each turn also helps the Electric Terrain pass, and I wanted to play around this. There's only 1 turn left of it when I knock out the Steel type and he sends out his ace Heliolisk, which is a fast special attacker, but Tyrantrum is faster, and Head Smash to nobody's surprise knocks it out. All Clement has left is Emolga, and it can't withstand the power of a Head Smash from our T-Rex. As I exit Lumiose City, I have another rival battle against Callum. After Meowstic hits me with a fake out, it hits me with a disarming voice, which despite being super effective, doesn't do too much to Tyrant, but its following Psychic does quite a bit. It's fine though, because I have one-shots on his remaining team. The Greninja to nobody's surprise is faster than me, but everything I've found says that this thing only has Quick Attack and Water Shuriken in this battle. I don't know how true that is, or what Game Freak was thinking giving opponents 2 moves when they could have did so much better. Like give this thing Ice Beam or Dark Pulse or Surf or something. But that's another rival battle in the books. Once I arrive in Lumiose City, I'm going to purchase some vitamins from the Pokemon Center. I buy 3 proteins and 3 carbos. I want to boost my best stat, but I also don't want to be underspeeding too many things later on. And of course, Lumiose City is the home of the Fairy-type gym, which isn't good for our part Dragon-type starter. Teaching a move like Bulldoze would definitely help against her lead Mawile, who likes to set up with Iron Defense itself, but it doesn't have any Fairy-type moves or Steel-type moves at that. But aside from her lead, her fairies are very frail. I think we'll be alright. Against her lead Mawile, I'm going to set up Hone Claws. I set up to +2 as she hits me with a crunch and sets up an Iron Defense herself. I don't want this thing setting up to +6 in its defense, so I go for Head Smash, which leaves it on low yellow health. Expecting Valerie to heal her lead, I go for another Hone Claws, but she doesn't heal, hitting me with Crunch again. I'm set up to +3, so I'm just going to go for the sweep from here. I finish off her lead, one-shot Mr. Mime, and one-shot her ace Sylveon. Not even fairies can stop Tyrantrum. I have to rid the Pokeball Factory of Team Flare next, facing the admin and then the double battle against Celosia and Byrony. Like at the power plant though, this battle isn't a challenge. I wonder if Team Flare will start to get tougher around the Lysander's lab section. On Route 15, I usually pick up optional battles because of what's to come in Frost Cavern. I do get caught by a ranger who hides in the leaf piles, but aside from that, I'm skipping all trainers along this route. There are 2 things I want to grab. The first is this PP up you get to by surfing, and it's going to be dumped into Head Smash. And the second is this rare candy, which I had to backtrack for because I didn't have my cut HM user in my party. In Dendemil Town, if you go into this house and talk to this guy, he gives you the Shell Bell, but only after you've seen 70 Pokemon in the Kalos Mountain Pokedex. Prior to starting this run, I thought it was 70 Pokemon in general, and I'm going to freeze frame it here because I want to talk about it really quick. In this moment, I didn't pause the run to see what the heck falls under the Mountain Pokedex. I actually looked it up in post, and I'll have a link down below to Cerebi. But looking at some of these Pokemon at quick glance, it looks like a lot of Pokemon you see after the 4th gym, and to be honest, trying to see all of these Pokemon looks like more work than trying to get hidden power before the League in Generation 5. Just something I thought I'd share. It sucks because I thought the Shell Bell would be a pretty useful item for later on in this run, but hopefully Tyrantrum will be just fine. This brings us to Frost Cavern, and I mentioned it in the Diggersby video, but your boy finally got good, dodging all of these fighting type bastards for the first time in any run. I was pretty stoked to do this, and it's going to make future runs better as well. We have a battle with Mabel in her past life at the end of the cave, and watching this battle back, I didn't know why I just didn't go for Head Smash. Maybe I thought it was in a different slot for some reason. It's been in slot 1 the whole damn run. Just one of those things you see and go, what are you doing? We have finally reached Anastar City though, home of the 7th gym and the Hidden Power TM. I'm going to be skipping that TM. Instead, I'm going to head to the Pokemon Center and grab the TM for Substitute from this girl, as one of those just in case I need it TMs. Before I can enter Olympia's gym, I have to battle my rival Callum, and for the first time since the Tower of Mastery, he defeats me. After a fake out from Meowstic, I try to set up Hone Claws, and Meowstic's Psychic is doing way too much damage, to the point where I'm on low red health by the time I knock it out, and Greninja is able to finish me off. Things don't go better in the next battle. Instead of choosing Head Smash, I go for Crunch on Meowstic, falling for the good ol' "this move is super effective" syndrome, but Crunch leaves Meowstic on low red health, which allows it to attack me again, this time choosing Shadow Ball and getting a critical hit. I'm not in a good spot for Greninja again. It goes for Water Shuriken, which hits me 4 times, leaving me on 4 HP. And Head Smash right on cue misses, and that's another loss to Callum. After a third loss to Greninja, I get this battle. I put the leftovers on prior to the battle, and I don't bother with any setup. I just go straight Head Smash, and it gets the job done. I don't take too much damage from the first 2 Pokemon, but I do miss twice against Absol, which is annoying. And while it sets up Sword Stance against me, it just goes for Quick Attack. Sorry Absol, that only works for Diggersby. And the strategy of just go for Head Smash works on Olympia as well. Of course, of my 7 uses, I miss 3 times, which makes the battle a bit slow. Her lead Sigilyph is able to set up both Light Screen and Reflect. Only Reflect matters though, since I'm a physical attacker. I can't one-shot Slowking, and even without Reflect, I don't think I would have been able to, and it puts me to sleep with Yawn. But it doesn't do too much to me as my Dinosaur snoozes. As far as her ace Meowstic, we just faced one. While it's faster and Psychic hits pretty hard, Head Smash hits harder, and that's the 7th badge. It's that time in these X and Y runs again. The Lysander's lab section of the run, and I actually lose this first battle. Can you guess how? If you said Head Smash misses and you get wrecked by High Jump Kick, congratulations, have a cookie. When Head Smash is hitting though, his team doesn't stand a chance, but for some reason against his final Pokemon Pyroar, I switched to Earthquake. Maybe I wanted the higher accuracy move? I don't know. Because of the Intimidate I took from his Gyarados, I can't one-shot it. Pyroar is using Dark Pulse, and it does flinch me once, and what should have been an easy second attempt is a close one. Surprisingly, out of Lysander's goons, Xerosich defeats me once. I ran out of PP on Head Smash prior to this battle, so I have to knock out the Crobat over 3 turns with Dragon Claw, as it brings me to under half HP with Steel Wing, and against the following Malamar, I switch to Crunch, which does a third. It hits me with Superpower, which actually boosts its stats thanks to its ability, and Tyrantrum faints. After using an Ether on Head Smash though, I can one-shot his Crobat and 2-shot the Malamar in the next battle, an easy fix. Lysander 2 isn't too difficult of a battle, his team is now fully evolved. Dragon Claw leaves his lead Mienshao on low red health, but it just sets up Sword Stance, and Tyrantrum is surprisingly faster. I can just go for Head Smash on the rest of his team. When it hits, it can one-shot, but when it misses, it gives his Pokemon a chance to attack me back. And his Honchkrow gets plenty of opportunities and hits me with Steel Wing. While it does bring me under half HP, I still have the leftovers on and I was never worried about this one. Lysander 3 is a different story though. Instead of setting up, his lead Mienshao hits me with High Jump Kick after Dragon Claw fails to knock it out. After I take it out though, it's smooth sailing. I have one-shots on Honchkrow and Pyroar, but now I have to talk about Gyarados. Because of its Intimidate, I'm at -1 attack, and he also Mega Evolves it in this battle, losing the Flying typing and gaining the Dark type. I can't even test my damage against it because Head Smash misses and it finishes me with an Outrage. I make it back to Gyarados in the next battle. Head Smash lands, leaving it on low yellow health, and it finishes me off again with Outrage. Thanks to the power of video editing, you don't need to watch my HM users faint, and I'm going to take a blackout. At this time, I had tried going back to Dendemille Town for the Shell Bell. I still didn't know it had to be 70 Pokemon in the Mountain Kalos Pokedex. And after failing to get the item, I decided to use rare candies. I have 6 in my bag, and I use 5 to go from level 57 to 62. In the next battle, I decide to set up against Honchkrow. I set up to +4, which will become +3 when Gyarados comes out, and this setup also helps with the accuracy of Head Smash. Once I'm done setting up, I can easily one-shot Honchkrow, one-shot Pyroar, and Head Smash also one-shots Mega Gyarados. Lysander is defeated at long last. Okay, time to go a bit rapid fire in this next section. On Route 18, I can grab the final PP up I'm going to drop into Head Smash. You just have to cut down this tree and grind on this rail. In Kuraway Town, I grab the rare candy, defeat Professor Sycamore, defeat my 3 rivals on the next route of the game, and enter Snowbell City, where it's time to take on the final gym leader Wolfric. He's normally not a difficult battle, but I'm using a dragon type, and I think I might struggle. Abomasnow is his lead. I set up Hone Claws turn 1 because his ace Avalugg is extremely defensive on the physical side of things. Abomasnow gets a critical hit with Ice Beam to leave me on low red health, and it freezes me. There's no point in playing this one out, so I take the quick reset. After another quick reset where I missed twice with Head Smash, I get this battle. I'm still going to set up to at least +1. When Abomasnow doesn't get a critical hit, Ice Beam does do well over half. The leftovers will counter out the hail damage, and I have one-shots on his lead and the following Cryogonal. Last is Avalugg, and I go for Head Smash, expecting to leave it on low yellow health. But no, at +1, Head Smash gets the one-shot, and that's the final gym badge earned. Before I head to Victory Road, I'm going to do some quick errands. I backtrack to Route 18, where I can enter a different part of Terminus Cave. In this part of the cave, I can grab the Brick Break TM. This could be useful against Wickstrom. I also head back to the section of Route 16 that's accessible by Lumiose City to grab the Fist Plate, which could possibly help with the power of Brick Break, and an additional rare candy. I can pick up another rare candy in Victory Road before I have the final battle against my rival Callum. I set up once on his Meowstic and then just leave my cursor on Head Smash. Only his lead and his Greninja are able to do damage to Tyrantrum, and this final battle is pretty underwhelming. Before taking on the Victory Road Gauntlet, I grab the Dragon Claw TM, just in case I need some moveset flexibility in the league. The Gauntlet at the end of Victory Road causes no problems, and after I deposit my HM users, I think it's time for Tyrantrum to take on the league. I take on Malva first. She's extremely easy. Head Smash away. I did set up on her Torkoal just so that I wouldn't miss against her Pokemon. I thought Drasna would also be an easy battle due to the favorable matchup, but she beat me twice. Both times I lost at the hands of her Noivern. It doesn't help that I miss Head Smash on Altaria in this battle, and its Dragon Pulse does massive damage thanks to a critical hit, and Noivern is able to easily clean me up afterwards. I decided to try my luck with Seabold before I take her on again. I set up once on his lead Clawitzer, and it also has Dragon Pulse, which gets powered up thanks to its ability Mega Launcher and does massive damage. I take it out and move on to Gyarados, who has Intimidate and drops my attack back to neutral, but Head Smash is more than enough to one-shot, and against his Ace Barbaracle, I get extremely lucky. Earthquake doesn't get the one-shot and puts it in full restore range, but it misses its cross chop. Because I know the full restore is coming, I can squeeze in a Hone Claws and one-shot it the next turn with Earthquake. Starmie is last, and at +1, Head Smash is more than enough for it. The rematch against Drasna goes in my favor. I have full health going into Noivern, and although it deals massive damage with Dragon Pulse, Head Smash lands one-shotting it, and I have more than enough HP to take the damage from Druddigan's Rough Skin ability once Head Smash knocks it out as well. Prior to facing Wickstrom, I used the 4 remaining rare candies in my bag to go from level 72 to 76. Wickstrom, in my opinion, is by far the toughest league member, and it starts with his annoying lead Klefki. This thing has the ability Prankster, which gives priority to status moves like Torment, which prevents you from using the same move 2 times in a row, which it went for immediately in this battle. It also knows both Dazzling Gleam and Flash Cannon as attacking moves. It's able to bring me to low red health before I take it out. He sends in Probopass next, easily his most defensive Pokemon, and it also has the ability Sturdy. Because of that, I'll have to two-shot it, but I don't have enough HP to take its Flash Cannon. I lost so many times to Wixstrom. This battle is extremely frustrating. In the next battle, I thought Aegislash would go for King Shield turn 1. Nope, it goes for Iron Head and knocks me out. The battle after that, I made it to his final Pokemon Scizor, but it has priority Bullet Punch and it's enough to knock me out. I tried changing my moveset up hoping it would help against Probopass, but the special defense drops from Flash Cannon proved to be too much. But finally, I get this battle where things go my way. I go for Earthquake immediately on Klefki, one-shotting it. Since I'm not subjected to Torment, I can go for Earthquake over and over on Probopass, burning all of Wixstrom's full restores while also gaining back HP from the leftovers. He sends out Aegislash third, and I choose to go for Dig instead of Hone Claws, hoping it would attack instead of choosing King Shield, but things didn't work out in my favor. Because it's still in its defensive stance, Dig does a little over half, as it retaliates with Iron Head doing well over half to me. I can knock it out with Earthquake on the next turn and move on to his final Pokemon Scizor. Because it doesn't see the KO with Bullet Punch, Tyrantrum moves first and hits it with a Head Smash, getting the one-shot. Now, let's face Diantha. Hawlucha is her lead. Turn 1 I set up Hone Claws, as its Flying Press deals pathetic damage. After seeing this, I set up an additional Hone Claws as it goes for Swords Dance, but +2 should be more than enough from here, and well, it is. I have one-shots against her entire team with either Head Smash or Earthquake. Hawlucha, Goodra, Aurorus, Tyrantrum, Gourgeist, and Gardevoir don't stand a chance. And this champion battle is pretty underwhelming. Tyrantrum dethrones Diggersby for the top spot in these X and Y runs, clocking in with a game time of 5 hours and 50 minutes. When I sat down to do this playthrough back in February, I thought Tyrantrum would get an A or S tier, but it's exceeded expectations, claiming the top overall spot. I do need to get around to redoing some of these older runs like Aegislash, Greninja, Chestnut, and Talonflame. I know I could improve all of these tenfold, and would probably get the first 3 into the S or A tier. Well, Chestnut might be B tier, but there's only one way to find out. I will say of the Generation 6 games, I'm enjoying Omega Ruby a lot more, and I have more runs of that game coming, with Sceptile being the next run in those games. As always, thank you guys for the continued support on the channel. Special shout out to the channel members, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care, everybody.